Awete everyone, this is Regulus Pastor. Welcome back to Higurashi no Naku Koro. This is Tsumihoroboshi-hen, the sixth of the main 8 arcs and the second answer arc. So, last time, we, being Keiichi, Myon, Satoko, and Rika, accidentally came across Dana hacking up Dina and Teppei's bodies. Kind of makes me laugh seeing the live action footage of an Odaiko being drummed upon like all these animations and CGs and stuff. So we came upon her trying to dispose of bodies in the damn construction site. And so she finished her flashback of telling the whole story. And she was really distrustful of them and their ability to help her at all whatsoever. But Keiichi, with his lawyery, go-get-em skills, convinced Rena that they could be of help, and so she started crying and weeping, and they decided to help her dispose of the body. They buried it in Yaguchi, I think they still went with that plan. Yaguchi being one of the abandoned villages, along with Takatsudo, where the people who were there just moved to Hinamizawa. And then they vowed to put that name behind them and help Rena get on with her life. So, let's continue. I think we stopped in the middle of a chapter last time because I just could not keep going on. It was a ridiculously long chapter, and people were already in bed, and I just couldn't keep going. So, this is Rena having just been dropped off at her house as she and her friends walked along. So let's see if I can do her voice.
After I partied with them, I still felt high and dizzy. It felt really weird. I was even staggering to the front door. I felt as if I were floating in the air, like I just took some very strong cold medicine. Today, something very shocking, something that made me super happy, and something very embarrassing happened to me. I felt as if my heart and mind were about to explode because they were filled to the brim with both happiness and sadness. I don't know whether I made a crucial mistake today, or if I had the happiest day of my life. I don't know which it is, and all I could do was to stare blankly into space. I felt frustrated too, even though they were my friends. I was caught in the act of abandoning the corpses. But at the same time, I felt relieved that my reliable friends accepted what I did. Those emotions were all mixed up in my heart, and they were equally strong, making it difficult for me to decide what I was feeling. I was losing my sense of balance. It was like the world was warping around me. I heard sounds as if I were in a shower. Everything left me with a feeling of unreality.
I need to load my stream on my phone so that I can see chat. Alright.
When those emotions were about to make me lose control, I felt a heat on my wrist. The part where Keiichi grabbed me earlier started throbbing. My feelings weren't cooperating with me, but the heat on my wrist calmed them down for me. I don't know how to express what I felt when my friends and I held shoulders together in a circle earlier, but the feeling was the only thing I knew to be real.
Tadaima.
I'm home.
あれ
Huh? As soon as I opened the front door, I smelled it. It smelled really good. My father isn't good at cooking, but he likes trying to cook creative dishes. I remember he used to cook something very challenging whenever he was in a good mood. So, this smell was a sign that he felt that way. That's why I always like the smell. The reason he's in a good mood is because he found a job. And not just any job. He found a job with a company created by friends from his old workplace.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Things are working out. Man. Like, that's awesome. I don't know how else to describe it.
I remember my father and promised to hire him. He told me that some of his other colleagues from the old company are also working there. It must be very encouraging for him to work with people he knows because he hasn't worked for a long time. The dinner looked great, in contrast to how it tasted. It was a dinner to celebrate his new life, to show his determination, to regain his bond with his daughter, and to make a clean start. I talked about a lot of things with my father that night. It had been a long time since the last time I talked with him like this. I don't remember when it was, but it reminded me of the days I was still happy, which meant that I'd finally returned to that time. My father still believes that Teppei is coming back one day, so he's still very cautious about locking the doors and windows, and he gets scared every time someone rings the doorbell. I told him so many times they'd never come back, but I couldn't convince him because I couldn't tell him the reason why they won't. He'll eventually realize that he's free. I'm sure it won't take too long. My heart was full of many, many emotions that day. If emotion could actually burst the heart open, it might happen to me. My brain must have been overworked because so many things happen at once.
Excuse me, I'm choking on air over here. The way I breathed in tickled my throat. Sorry if I'm peeking the mic. I'm trying not to. You know, I'm choking over here. Guys, it just won't end.
My head was still fuzzy, but I managed to crawl into bed. I felt like the ground was moving. I totally lost my sense of reality.
I think this music is a little too cheery for this occasion. I'm thinking this happiness won't last.
I remember that I once felt like this when I got the flu.
Fun fact, when I first went off to college, I think it was the day after I was dropped off at my first place by my family. I was coming down with a fever, and I was hallucinating that there was an open dog fight in our little suburb. But I was in like these thermal pajamas, and I was afraid to go outside because of how indecent I looked. But I felt guilty for hesitating to go outside, because what if all these dogs were fighting and they needed my help? Like, I heard dogs barking and yelping, and I thought I heard like someone on like a loudspeaker, like sort of like I'd seen my uncle like take his bass amp out to the yard and plug it in and play a little bit, or speak into it with a mic. And so that's what it reminded me of. And I probably hallucinated the whole thing. Well, I know I hallucinated the dogfight, but I don't know how much of reality crept into it. But oh, what a memory. Anyway,
I might get a high fever tomorrow, but I don't care.
oh, you will when the dogs start yapping.
I don't care if I get sick tomorrow. I just wanted to enjoy the fact that I took a step towards the future of my decision. Kate-kun told me something like that today.
Yeah, that does sound like him.
The high fever and the dizziness made me feel frustrated for some reason.
The high fever. Didn't you say you might get a high fever tomorrow? If you're not feeling chilly, you don't have a fever. Yet.
But whenever I felt frustrated, I felt the heat on my wrist too. I grabbed my wrist with my left hand tightly. It made the frustration go away, and it brought me relief. Even the dizziness I didn't like just before made me feel like I was in a down-filled futon. I was falling asleep in that down-filled futon on my first night in the new world. This dizziness didn't go away for a few days, but I gradually got used to it. This new world looked like the world I used to live in before. But the sunshine was a little bit brighter, and Kate-kun's smile looked a little bit more gentle than before. Hallelujah!
Excuse me.
We made more noise than we used to. We spent every day slowly, but in high spirits. Oh, what an idiot I am. I underestimated that dizziness, and I caught a summer cold in June. I wanted to get better as soon as possible. I should have taken a day off from club activities, but I forced myself to play with him every day. That made it hard for me to get better. I finally learned my lesson recently. I don't need to feel frustrated. There's no limit to happiness in this world. As long as we keep wishing for it, it'll continue forever. I don't need to feel frustrated anymore because tomorrow I will have the happiness I have today. We'll have the Watanageshi Festival next Sunday. Mi-chan tells us that we'll have a lot of fun and that we'll go extra crazy. I really can't wait.
Kind of feels awkward for a scene transition here. Higurashi no Naku Koro ni Tsumihoroboshi-hen. You have received a new tip. Letter from the forestry office. Achievement unlocked. You're crying right now. Be forgiven. Alrighty. Let's read this tipums. Need some more entertaining secret to keep my vocal folds nice and hydrated. Speaking of hydration, I should drink some water too. Or at least put some water on my lips, because they're starting to dry out. Perfect timing with the fade out of the music. So I'm guessing this is still Rika?
It's still June, yet the air is filled with the cries of cicadas. How is everyone in Hinamizawa doing? The Watanageshi Festival is coming just around the corner. We staff members from the forest.
Oh, excuse me. I'll just give my regular narration voice. It's still June, yet the air is filled with the cries of cicadas. How is everyone in Hinamizawa doing? The Watanagashi Festival is coming just around the corner. We staff members from the Forestry Service are going to perform a wood sculpting demonstration at the festival. We'll be happy to lend out our tools and teach your kids how to sculpt wood themselves. It'll be an excellent memorial gift. Also, we would like to inform everyone that we're going to cut down trees on the local hills this summer as part of the number 4th Forest Landscape Management Project. This project involves preserving the beauty of the forest by cutting down old trees and planting new ones. The Forestry Service needs volunteers who are interested in helping us cut down the old trees. You can enjoy the beauty of nature under the blue sky while helping out with this preservation activity. The project will begin during summer break, so you can bring your kids too. This will be a good opportunity for your kids to learn about nature and have a valuable experience. The locations of the project are the forests in the Takatsudo and Yaguchi areas. Ha ha ha! That's where they bury the body. La 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 la. It's from the Nutcracker, by the way. Transposed, of course. Hey, welcome everyone!
特製のフランクフルトはいかがですか?
Would you like a hot dog?
あよ。
I feel like there's some missing dialogue audio there. Is a really short way to say this very involved sentence. Our shaved ice is the best you've ever tasted.
シロップはイチゴにメロンにブルーハワイがあるよ。
You can have it with strawberry syrup, melon syrup, or blue Hawaii syrup. Blue Hawaii is a kind of cocktail. The flavoring syrup of which is used very often in snow cones in Japan.
おみくじたこ焼きいかがですか?
Try our takoyaki roulette!
当たりにはマスタードがぎっしり!
The winner's packed with a ton of mustard! They put mustard in takoyaki? There are a great many booths at this year's Watanagashi Festival. Anything can become a festival if there are vendors selling food and music for bone dances, I thought. It's still June, but it had been extremely hot the past few days, almost as if it's already summer. When you have a June festival with bone dance music under this kind of weather, the only thing that's missing to make it a perfect summer festival is fireworks. Oh, so they have like Obon festival style music during the vendors portion of the festival. It's not just during the ceremony. The anime is full of lies. Oh, I don't have a CB simulator on hand. What am I gonna do? I could use a dollar bill, but I don't want to put all those germs to my mouth. You know what I mean? I think I see a CB simulator in sight. Just give me a couple seconds. CB Simulator. This is Kunagai. Oi-san, can you hear me? Over. Oh, this is Oi-san. Should have given him like a light mustard colored text. Okay. Let's redo this narration then.
There are a great many booths at this year's Watanabe's festival. Anything can become a festival if there are vendors selling food and music for ballroom dances, I thought. It's still June, but it has been extremely hot the past few days, almost as if it's already summer. When you have a June festival with ballroom dance music under this kind of weather, the only thing that's missing is to make it a perfect summer... The thing that's missing to make it a perfect summer festival is fireworks. I heard a voice coming from my portable radio. Wow, if it's your phone, it looks a little like I'm secretly listening to the horse races while on duty.
はい、おいしです。
Yes, this is Oishi.
感度良好
I can hear you loud and clear.
That's sort of the opposite of clear.
The current customers gave us a lot of food. We have oden, yakisoba, pork belly stew, and some barley tea.
その麦茶、キムチに飲める麦茶
Ooh, that's right. I keep forgetting that Japan is the homeland of kombucha, which is like fermented kelp tea. It's alcoholic. It wouldn't surprise me that there's an alcoholic version of barley tea. And they don't just ferment stuff for alcohol either. Like they ferment rice for a lot of ingredients, but I'm actually allergic to fermented rice because they use an aspergillus mold to get the fermentation process started, and I'm allergic as heck to aspergillus molds. I found that out very hard way after several times of eating miso soup and getting an increasingly long cough afterwards. My last miso-inspired cough lasted a week and a half. So no more koji for me. And they use that same mold for fermenting the rice for sake. So anybody who's allergic to those molds, don't drink sake.
You mean the barley tea we can drink on duty?
飲めない麦茶
Or the one we can't drink on duty? Well...
その麦茶、缶ならもらっといてください
If it's a canned drink, I'll take it.
コップなら自体でお願いします
If it's in a cup, don't worry about it.
Oh, so if, is that implying that all barley tea that's homemade is, fermented? Interesting. I've only ever had it from an Asian grocery store. And I don't drink anyway. I mean, I've gotten, slight buzz from eating some grapes that started to sour, but that's it. Did I say?
If it's in a cup, don't worry about it.
Can't remember if I said that. But it's said now, darn it.
Yeah, roger that. And all the members of the town council are here to say hi.
So Oishi isn't judging. but Kumagai seems to be indulging a bit. And all the members of town council are here to say hi. We have the mayor and the head of the Sonozaki family, too.
お寮のばあ様
Well, that old bag of yours, sir?
やだな大石は巡回中でいつ戻ってくるかわからないとか言ってごまかせません
Oh, jeez. Can you tell that I'm patrolling right now and don't know when I'll be back?
No, I don't think I can do that for you, sir. She knows you have a portable radio, so she told me to call you and to bring you back here. She looks really mad.
あのばあ様死ぬときは絶対脳梗塞ですね
I'm sure it'll be a stroke that kills her.
了解了解すぐに戻ると丁重にですよ
Roger that. Tell her with extreme courtesy that I'll be back soon.
お伝えください
Please. Oh well. I guess I'm gonna have to go back and mingle with our locals. All of a sudden, a group of kids came running towards me from behind. After a quick look at them, I noticed that they were the granddaughter of the old bag and her friends. They occupied a corner of the shooting gallery stall, making a lot of noise. Sonozaki Mion. When acting her age, she's a cute, normal girl. Do I ever hate it when she acts like a member of the Sonozaki family? She'll be the boss of the Okinamiya Yakuza territory in 10 or 20 years. Just you wait and see. Wow, I was thinking things like that. I noticed that Mion wasn't the one taking leadership of her group this time. He was the boy. That boy. I know him. He just moved here recently. The boy from the Maebara mansion.
Is it really a mansion, though? I mean, it's kind of large and expanded upon house, but I wouldn't call it a mansion. And also, I'm kind of wondering about the wording in Japanese here, because as I've stated many times before during these Higurashi streams, mansion in Japanese means like a crowded apartment or a crowded house, like you might find in like the Meguro ward of Tokyo, where like all the college professors and their families live in tight yardless houses that fit within a square.
Maebara Keiichi-kun, was it? I heard of the Maebara families from the city, and they're supposedly very rich too. But he doesn't flaunt his family's wealth, and he has a good reputation because of that. Even though he just moved here, he's already adjusted to his new school, and is popular with his classmates too. Everyone in the village seems to like him as well. He's very interesting to watch, as a person of many moods. Boys of his age sure have a lot of energy. To be young again.
おい次はレナだぜ
Oi! You're up next, Lena!
ここでレナはかなり美味しいタイミングだぜ
You're lucky, it's your turn.
大丈夫レナ
Lena, are you okay?
具合悪いんじゃないの
Are you feeling sick?
ごめん I'm sorry ちょっと射的は横で見てたいかな I guess I have to pass on taking a shot なら無理をしないで休んでいるといいのです Okay You should take a break for a bit
Oh, the rest. And that very last word, like the essence of a 60-year-old lifelong smoker just vomited out of me.
So,
レナさんを飛ばしてここでいよいよ真打ち。
that would make it my turn, no?
私の出番でございましてよ。
Victory shall be mine!
You look like only four of them are having a good time. The girl called Lena seemed outside of that circle of smiles. Her name is Ryugu Lena. What was her real name? I couldn't remember, but I can check when I get back to the station. Lena is only a nickname. I believe she moved here a year before my Barakin Day. Her mother divorced her father, or something like that. She's a strong girl who does all the housework by herself. She's a very modest girl, I'm told, which is rare in this era. Unlike my Barakin, it seemed like she hadn't really opened up to her friends just yet. They had looked like a group of five, but there's distance between her and the others. It's a little sad, you know.
Hey, Deslet, how are you doing tonight?
My Barakin has become a part of the village, but Lena is still by herself. Well, that's just how it looks to me.
Oi-san! The chief and the section manager are here. Please come back as soon as possible.
おいし了解。
Roger that!
地域のお祭りにまで挨拶に来るなんて、うちの所長は地域交流に豆だな。
I can't believe the chief came all the way here just to say hi to the locals.
沖宮の祭りに来たって話は聞いたことないのに。
I guess he's very dedicated to community service, huh?
I don't have that many CD simulators to go around, so we're just gonna have to use the one timbre.
This is Takasugi.
大石さん聞こえますか？どうぞ。
Oi-san, can you hear me? Do you copy? Over.
はいはい、おいしです。
Yes, yes, I hear you.
ただいま全速力で帰還中ですよ。
I'm on my way back right now.
もう1分ほどお待ちを。
I'll be there in a minute. If I don't hurry up, even the chief might end up calling me. I ran back to the headquarters tent.
Time-padded scene transitions. And it's Henry Townsend-kun again. Ow. I'm stinging my thighs all up.
大石さん、先生が到着してます。
Oh, made him a little too rhotic while I was getting carried away with the CD simulator. Oi-san, Dr. Irie is here.
ああ、どうもどうも。
Whoa, thank you so much for coming.
どうですか、入江の先生。
So, what do you think, Dr. Irie?
Oh, so who are we narrating as now? I'm gonna guess Irie-sensei. Or coach. Oi, she entered the cordoned off area. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the corpse from various angles. Oh. Well, I'll be darned. I'm just gonna use my regular narration voice then. Oishi entered the cordoned off area. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the corpse from various angles. Irie was squatting down next to the dead body of Tomitake-jiro. Rip Henry Townsend-kun, again. When he stood up, he looked pale.
信じられません。
I can't believe it.
そりゃ私だって信じられませんよ。
funnily enough, I would have EDA's voice actor pegged to dub Henry Townsend if Silent Hill 4 ever got a remaster in Japanese dub. Not because of this role, but because of his role in Paranoia Agent.
I know, I can't believe it either.
初見で見た限り、仏は喉をかきむしっています。
As far as I see, he clawed at his throat.
それも自分の手でです。
With his bare hands.
こいつはまっとうな死に方じゃない。
This isn't a normal way to go.
十中八九、何らかのヤバめな薬物でしょ
う。Most likely, it was the cause of some drug or something.
彼は何らかの薬物の常習者だったということでしょうか。
Wait, are you saying he might have been a drug addict?
さあね。
Who knows?
そいつを調べるのはどうやら我々の仕事になりそうです。
I guess it's gonna be my job to find that out.
大石さん。
大石さん。
この角材は
What's with this 2x4?
多分仏が振り回したんじゃないかと思います。
Maybe he's swinging it around?
で、途中で捨てて喉をかくのが楽しくなっちゃったんじゃないかと。
Then he threw it away and had more fun clawing at his throat, I guess.
角材を何のために振り回したんでしょ
う。Why was he swinging a piece of lumber around?
自衛のためと考えるのが一番自然だと思います。
He probably did it in self-defense.
仏の体に外傷がいくつかあるのに気づいてます？
Did you notice there are several external injuries on his body?
ええ、打撲傷を思わせる跡がいくつか散見できます。
Yes, I can see some bruises.
ってことは、一番考えられるストーリーは、仏が祭り終了後、沖宮へ帰る途中、ここで何者かに襲われた。
The easiest explanation I can think of is that he was attacked by someone on his way home to Okinomiya from the festival.
それで、取り押さえられて怪しげな注射とかそういうのをされて、その結果錯乱させられて死に至らしめられた。
He was seized by the culprit, given a shot of some kind of dangerous drug, went crazy and died.
喉をかきむしるように誘導できる薬物なんて聞いたことがありません。
I've never heard of any drug that can make people claw out their throats.
私もそっちは専門じゃありませんが、薬物中毒の一つに自傷行為ってあるらしいじゃないですか。
I'm not a specialist, but many drug addicts injure themselves when they're in a terminal condition.
まあ、その辺はうちの鑑識のじい様が調べてくれるでしょう。
Well, I'm sure the old man of forensics will take care of the investigation.
おいさん、失礼します。
Excuse me! おいさん！
ここから数百メートルのところに富武二郎のものと思われる自転車が見つかりました。
We found a bicycle believed to belong to Tomitake-san about 100 meters away from here.
お、そうですか。ありがとうございます。
Oh, that's great. Thanks for the find.
何か手がかりとかは？
Any other clues?
いえ、初見では特には。
Not yet.
今、鑑識が言っています。
They're investigating right now.
じゃあ、つまり、その自転車があった場所が襲撃場所と考えていいんでしょうね。
So, that means the place where the bicycle was found is most likely the place he was attacked.
それで、戦ったり逃げたりしてここまで来た。
And then he ran away from the suspect, then ended up here.
Oishi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Irie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomitake, and he kept saying the same thing over and over.
ありえない。
It's impossible.
絶対にありえない。
It's just impossible.
先生、ありえちゃったんだから仕方がないです。
Doctor, it happened, so it was possible, okay?
発想を柔軟にしましょう。
Try to think flexibly.
まあ先生でもこんな死体はなかなか見慣れてるものじゃないか。
Although I get you don't really see something like this every day, despite being a doctor.
先生はもう結構ですよ。
Anyway, thanks for your cooperation.
お帰りになられて十分休んでください。
You can go home now.
救命活動でお呼びしたはずだったんですが、無駄足になってしまって申し訳ないです。
We called you here for emergency medical care, but it looks like it was a waste of a trip. Sorry.
Oishi stuck his head out of the blue tent and asks,
Can anybody give him a ride home?
Irie gasped all of a sudden as he turned to Oishi. I was having trouble adjusting my voice for a second.
そうだ。高野さんは
What about Takano-san?
高野さんはどうなったんです？
What happened to Takano-san?
え？
What?
お宅の看護師さんの？
Oh, your nurse?
多分富武さんと一緒だったと思うんです。
I think she was with him.
高野さんは無事なんですか？
Is she okay?
先生、彼女の電話番号はわかります？
So that's how they found out she was missing. Because, even in the first arc, on Higurashi, well, she was missing in that arc. In Watanabe, they found her burned body in that, empty oil drum in the mountains. And I think that was the case for Higurashi-hen. And, of course, that was the case for Miyakachi-hen as well, since that was the answer arc to the question arc of Watanabe-hen.
Do you know her phone number?
もちろんです。
Of course.
熊ちゃん、
Kumo-ton!
入江の先生に電話番号を聞いて署から在宅確認を取らせてください。
Got a phone number from Dr. Irie and make someone at the station call her house.
了解っす。
Understood.
先生、番号を。
Doctor, can I have the number?
はい。よろしいですか？
Yes. Here it is. Kumagai got the phone number from Irie, repeated it back, and then dashed away from the blue tarps.
先生、
Doctor,
高野さんと仏は確か親しい仲でしたよね。
Takano-san and Tomitake-san were close friends, right?
ええ。
Yes.
何かトラブルがあったとか、そういうのは聞いたことがあります？
Have you heard about any troubles between them?
まさか。
No.
聞いたことないです。
Not even once.
仲のいい二人でした。
They were very close.
何事もなけりゃいいんですがね。
Well, I hope she's okay.
下手すりゃ仏か、それとも星か。
In the worst case, she could be dead, or she could be the culprit.
なるほど。看護師なら怪しげな薬物を取り扱えてもおかしくはないですよね。
I see. Nurses have access to dangerous drugs.
そんな薬品はうちの診療所にはありませんし、あったとしても厳重に保管されています。
We don't have anything like that in my clinic. Even if we did, we'd be extra careful with them.
高野さんに持ち出せるわけがない。
There's no way Takano-san could smuggle out a drug from my clinic.
それでも一般人よりは容易でしょ。
But it's easier for nurses to do it than for regular people, right?
ですからそもそもそんな薬物は聞いたことがないし、当診療所にも存在しません。
Like I said, I've never heard of a drug like that. And I don't have anything like that in my clinic.
大石さん、留守のようです。
Oi-san, she isn't at home.
署の待機組の方で直接訪問すると言ってます。
The standby unit says they're going to go to our house to check.
先生、 すみませんが高野さんの住所を教えてください。
Doctor, can you give me her address?
クマちゃん、
クマちゃん。
それプラス県警に今夜出た身元不明の女性死体がないか確認を取ってください。
Can you also check if the police headquarters has found any unidentified female bodies tonight?
あるいは県外の可能性もあるな。
Maybe we should check the other prefectures too.
課長に近県にも同様に身元不明の女性死体が出ていないか確認を取るよう伝えてください。
Tell the section manager if he can call the headquarters in nearby prefectures and ask if they have any identified female bodies.
Stupid mouse pad. It's just this one solid touch sensitive button that has like a tiny little drawn on line at the bottom as to what counts as a left click and what counts as a right click. But it's stupid because anywhere above that line it counts as a left click anyway. Oh gosh, I need a mouse.
了解っす。
It's even more incompetent than my previous laptop's mouse pad, but fortunately I'm not dealing with the slowness and old age of my previous laptop. Yes, sir!
高野さんも殺されているということですか？
Are you saying that Takano-san might also be dead?
さてどうでしょうね。
Whoa. I don't know.
まだガイシャともホシとも決まったわけじゃありません。
I don't know if she's dead or if she's the culprit.
もちろん無関係って可能性だって残ってます。
Of course, it's possible she's not involved at all.
明日は月曜だってのも構わず、その辺の飲み屋で飲んだくれてる可能性もありますからね。
She might just be getting drunk in a bar somewhere.
信じられない。
It's unbelievable.
どうしてこんなことが。
Who does things like this?
まあ私だって信じられないです。
Well, it's unbelievable to me too.
品見沢村連続開始事件。
This fits with the rest of the mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa.
これで5年目ですよ。
It's been 5 years now.
お社様のたたりが5連続ってことになっちまいます。
We'll make this the 5th curse of Oyashiro-sama.
くそ。なんとか今年で尻尾を掴んでやりたいな。
Darn it. I've got to get whoever's behind it this year for sure.
Because remember, he's retiring this year.
定年前にその山だけはなんとか片付けたいんです。
Called it.
I really want to put an end to these cases before I retire.
Excuse me. Oishi hates the curse of Oyashiro-sama. It had been leading him around by the nose for 5 consecutive years. The victim of the first year, the manager of the dam construction site, was his friend. Despite his desire to avenge his friend, the mystery had only deepened, and one case followed another year after year. Oishi would be retiring next March. As a retiree, he'd be able to ask about the progress of the investigation, but he wouldn't be able to take the initiative anymore. In other words, this year was his last chance for revenge. Would he have to put his head in the lion's mouth to capture the culprit? Oishi quietly clenched his fist. I believe.
I believe that this maze has an exit. Maze is a very convenient word. A maze always has an exit. You don't call it a maze if it doesn't have one. I know I'm on the right path towards the exit of this maze. I used to miss these minor divergences, but now I don't miss anything. I don't make any mistakes. This time I could feel a response that was different than all the other times. I'm sure I could finally get to the exit of this maze. But no matter which path I choose to come to this point, Tomitake always dies.
Oh, I guess that would be Rika. Oops. Well, I think it'll still have the text in the log. Whenever the scene transition gets done... I'm thirsty. Not in a lewd way. Couldn't say that with a straight face. This is a new record. Gosh, sometimes I really hate the visual novel format. Finally. Now I still have to redo this narration. Okay. Creepy sounding Rika coming up.
I believe that this maze has an exit. Maze is a very convenient word. A maze always has an exit. You don't call it a maze if it doesn't have one. I know I'm on the right path towards the exit of this maze. I used to miss these minor divergences, but now I don't miss anything. I don't make any mistakes. This time, I could feel a response that was different than all the other times. I'm sure I could finally get to the exit of this maze. But no matter which path I choose to come to this point, Tomitake always dies.
Okay. Should be Keiichi again. Excuse me. Rena had been sick ever since that day, and she hadn't been able to join in on club activities as often since.
Yeah. まだちょっと風邪っぽいの。
Darn it, I'm feeling really itchy in my ears. It's holding the works up because of my headset.
I still feel feverish.
そうでございますの。
You do, huh?
それは残念ですわね。
That's a pity.
なあレナ、
Hey, Rena!
たまにはパーッとはしゃいでみないか？
Why don't you just try and play with us today?
多分元気に遊べば吹っ飛ばせると思うんだよ俺は。
I think you'll feel a lot better if you blow off some steam with us.
そうだね。それはおじさんも同感だね。
You got this, old man, it's agreement.
そうかな。かな。
You think so? Do you?
横になっている方がかえって毒になることもありますです。
Sometimes resting too much is bad for you.
そうですわよね。
They're quite correct.
病は気からとも言いますですわ。
All illness comes from the mind, don't you know?
That's untrue. Someone who's had a whole bunch of illnesses in my lifetime. Most of them are not psychological at all, and even psychological illnesses have some biological component to them. Everybody had suspected for a while that Rena isn't really sick, at least physically. It's just that many things happened to her at once. She caught a mental cold. That's why I thought she would get better when she played with us, just like we used to. It seemed like Rena was aware of that too. She knew that she had to get out of her state of depression soon. She wanted to get better, and she wanted to have fun again every day.
よし。
Okay,
私も参加する。
I'll do it.
オッケー。
Great.
そう来なくっちゃね。
That's the spirit.
じゃあ今日はレナの病み上がりも少し加味してテーブルゲームから種目をチョイスしよう。
Considering the fact that Lena is still recovering from her illness, let's play a tabletop game today.
何がいいかな、何がいいかな。
Let me see. Let me see.
Mion started rummaging through her locker, humming to herself. She took one game after another from the locker and put them aside. That locker definitely didn't obey the laws of physics. The amount of games she took out from the locker was more than what it could physically hold.
お、こんなのもあったね。
Oh, I forgot about this one.
久しぶりにやってみようか。
It's been a while, so let's try this.
今日は本格派推理ゲームでいこう。
Today we'll be playing this detective game.
ほ
Oh,
うなんだよそれ。
oh, what's that?
面白そうだな。
Sounds interesting.
犯人と凶器、犯行現場の3つを当てるゲームなの。
Well, this is a game where you guess the culprit, the murder weapon, and the scene of the crime.
So basically, Clue.
結構頭を使うんだよ。
It's a game where you use your brain.
一度やればすぐに覚えてしまいます。You pick it up as you play. ちゃんとメモに整理していけば大丈夫なのです。
They already played this in another arc.
All you need to do is to note down the information you have. 情報の整理にはちょっとしたコツがありますのよ。In other words, you need to learn the trick of note-taking. 知的な私の最も得意とするジャンルでございますわね。This is a game for intelligent people like myself.
The rules don't seem that difficult. In short, it's a game where you sound out the cards each player holds in order to try and reason out the identity of the cards first drawn out of the deck. There are plenty of games in different formats where you try to identify something hidden in the least number of steps. This one just happens to be a competitive one of those. The key to winning this game would be how well you can organize your information. We usually like to play athletic games so that we can run around a lot, but in our club you have to excel both academically and athletically.
よしよしよし。なんだか面白くなってきやがった。
Alright, alright. This is gonna be great. Mousepad.
やろうぜやろうぜ。
That scared me a little. Let's play!
レナ、今日こそ曖昧になってる。あの水鉄砲勝負の時の白黒をつけてやる。
Me choking on air again. I'm talented. Rena, do you remember how we still haven't decided the winner of the water gun battle? I'm gonna settle it today once and for all.
そうだね。
Oh, are you?
よーし、レナも本気で行くからね。Then, I'm not going to go easy on you. レナが本気なら、僕も本気を出さないといけませんです。If Lena is getting serious, I'll have to get serious too. ですわね。Yes, indeed. あの水鉄砲の一件以来、ケイチさんとレナさんの評価を改めましてよ。Since that water gun battle, I reevaluated Keith-san, Lena-san. 容赦なく行かせていただきますわ。I'm gonna be merciless today.
よしよし、盛り上がってきたね。
Alright, this is getting exciting.
おじさんもこういう熱さを期待してたんだよ。
This old man's been waiting for everyone to get this fired up.
よし、
Excellent.
行ってみよう。
Let's do this.
よし行くぜ。
Alright, are you ready?
俺がナイフで書斎はどうだ。
I did it with a knife in the library.
あるよ。OK。レナはね、ケイイチ君毒薬で玄関ホールだよ。My turn. ケイイチ君 did it with poison in the hall. 私はこれですわね。ミオン、ピストル、ラウンジですわ。My turn. ミオン did it with a pistol in the lounge.
ピストルはあんたが持ってるんでしょ。
You're holding the pistol, aren't you?
下手なフェイクは意味ないよ。
You're bluffing.
犯人と凶器は特定できたと思います。I think I know the suspect in the murder weapon. 犯行現場が2択なのです。I've narrowed the scene of the crime down to 2.
カちゃんも？
You good, Rika-chan?
私は犯人が2択で特定できない。
I've never done the suspect to two, but it's hard to pin down which one it is.
コツは相手の質問内容からも何かのヒントを得ることですのよ。
I'll give you a tip. There's always a hint in the questions the other players ask you.
それが分かれば時には相手の手札で答えが分かることもありましたよ。
If you figure it out, you can even solve the whole mystery by the order the cards you others put down on the table.
なるほどな。
I see.
くそ、甘く見てたか。
Darn it, I underestimated the depth of this game.
やべえ、メモがぐちゃぐちゃで意味がわからなくなった。
Oh no, my notes are such a mess. I can't even read my own handwriting.
メモに書き取るコツが分かればこのゲームは7割方攻略したも同然だね。
Once you acquire the skill in note-taking, you'll have a 70% chance to win this game.
7割程度じゃおじさんには勝てないけどさ。
The yawns officially commenced at 11:09 p.m.
But, well, even a 70% chance won't be enough to defeat me.
I kinda knew I didn't stand a chance of winning this game, but I gradually started picking it up. Then I seemed to be getting her energy back as she played along. It was the right decision to force her to play with us today. We forced you. Never forget it. The nasal blockage and the post-nasal drip. While we were in the middle of the game, Chie-sensei came into the classroom.
楽しそうですね。
My, you look like you're having fun.
ところで竜宮さんはいますか？
Anyway, it's Ryugu-san here.
は？
Oh,
竜宮さんにお客様が来ています。
you have a visitor.
Everybody looked puzzled. Parents sometimes showed up at school for some reason, but Chie-sensei never called them visitors. It's rare to have a visitor at school.
なんだろう。
I wonder who.
ちょっと行ってくるね。
Well, I have to go.
みんなは部活続けててね。
You continue without me.
Rena left the classroom at a run.
どうする？
What should we do?
待ってるか？
Should we wait for her?
どれだけかかる用事かわからないからね。
Well, we don't know how long it's gonna take.
レナもああ言ってたことだし、
Rena told us we could continue.
私たちは続けようか。
So let's do that.
ああ！
Oh! Oh! なのです。Around the entrance, the glaring sun and the cool shade made for a clear contrast. An old man who's holding his jacket on his arm was waiting for me. He looked like he was overheating, and his tie was limp.
竜宮さんですか。
A new Ryugu-san.
竜宮レイナさん。
Ryugu Rena-san.
Ever since Rina called me Rena, I've hated that name more than ever. Because of that, I didn't have a good first impression of this man.
そうですよ。
Yes, that's me.
どちら様ですか？
May I ask who you are?
私の車はエアコンが効いてますからそっちでお話ししましょ
My car has air conditioning, so why don't we move this into there?
う。ここ暑くありません？
Aren't you hot out here?
Stranger danger.
He ignored my question and started walking towards the car parked in front of the school gate. If he wanted to talk about something normal, he would have used the teacher's office. But he wanted to talk in his car instead. I couldn't help but feel suspicious. Chie-sensei let him see me, though. That meant he wasn't a suspicious individual as far as he was concerned. Who is he?
取って食いやしません。
Excuse me.
I don't bite, you know.
どうぞどうぞ。
Please, this way.
He called out to me while opening the rear door. Is he a policeman? Did the police find out that I killed those two? I felt anxious all of a sudden. Was this what they called a voluntary interview? I didn't want to go in that car. If I rejected his offer, it'd only make me look suspicious. I prepared myself and got in. It was really cool inside the car. The car I see must cost a fortune.
Remember, this is back in 1983 when Japan was, finally starting to get ahead in their economy.
At least, my father's car doesn't have one.
冷えすぎだったら言ってくださいよ。
Please let me know if it's too cold.
私ガンガンに冷やしちゃうたちですから。
I like keeping it that way.
Excuse me. He likes keeping it too cold, huh? I know what he meant. I should mention, this is when Japan was finally starting to get ahead in their economy since World War II. Once they surrendered to the Allied powers and the US occupied them, they were in shambles for a good long while, and it took a lot of zeitgeist in devoting yourself to the corporation for the Japanese citizens to get ahead, and it took a few decades. Kind of sad and dispiriting, but also hopeful story. But now we have a whole bunch of consequences in corporate Japan as a result.
で、
Oops.
私に何の用ですか?
Please let me know if it's too cold. I like keeping it that way.
So, what's this talk about? In retaliation, I ignored his question and got to the point like he did. He pulled a small notebook out of his breast pocket and flipped through it. He picked out a photo from it. The photo showed the face of a goofy-looking man.
この男性のことでご存知のことがあったら教えてください。
Please tell me if there's anything you know about this person.
The man in the picture was expressionless and looked half asleep. Sometimes you can't even recognize your own family members in a photo where they don't have an expression. So there's no way I would recognize a person who wasn't related to me. But anyway, that was a bit of a relief. This had nothing to do with Nina or her partner.
シャツにマジックで落書きがありましてね。
There were scribbles on his shirt.
リュウグさんをはじめクラスメート何人かの署名入りでした。
And we found the signatures of students at the school, including yours, Ryugu-san.
これ、富武さん?
So, that's how they got, that's how Oichi decided to question Cage. Of course, in the first arc, which is what I'm talking about here. Oichi, I wanted to nasalize that name just from saying it. Oichi wanted to exclude, people who were from the town and Rena, who had a psychotic episode in Ibaraki, relating to Oyashiro-sama. So, I'm presuming he doesn't know about Rena's past in Ibaraki in this arc. And I think now's a good time to say that this is the answer arc to Onekakushi-hen.
Is this Tomitake-san? I don't feel his usual carefree unreliableness from this picture at all. From this half-awake, emotionless face.
では、こちらの女性はわかりますか?
Well, How about this woman then?
I knew what he was gonna show.
ミオさんです。
Her name is Mio-san.
高野ミオさん。
Takano Mio-san.
二人に最後に会ったのはいつですか？
When did you see them last?
綿流しの祭りのお開きになった直後くらいに会ったと思います。
I think it was right after the Watanagashi festival.
何か気になったこととかありませんか？
Didn't you notice anything strange?
何でも結構です。
Anything.
話してください。
Please tell me.
富武さんたちに何かあったんですか？
Did something happen to them?
We know the story from here.
よっしゃ
That just slightly scared me. I mean, the time it scared me before wasn't great or anything. Wasn't enough to make me actually jump, but this was even less. Yeah!
取った
I got it!
実はよ、レナとミオンで二択だったんだよな。
To tell you the truth, I wasn't sure if it was Ren or Mion.
じゃあ博打だったんですの？
So, you gambled?
なんてリスクのあることを。
How risky.
それでも勝ちは勝ちなのですよ。
Well, that's quite an underdog victory, or I guess a dark horse victory, you might call it too.
It doesn't matter how he won. What matters is that he won.
お、レナだ。
Oh, Rena!
おかえり。
Welcome back.
ずいぶん時間かかったね。
What took you so long?
Mion noticed that Rena had returned. She looked exhausted. I have no idea what she talked about with the visitor, but it was obvious it wasn't something fun.
レナ、大丈夫？
Rena, are you okay?
What?
何大丈夫って。
What's okay?
いや、顔色だよ。
I'm talking about you.
青いというか、白いというか。
You look pale.
本当に大丈夫？
Are you sure you're alright?
Rena tried to convince us she was fine, but her face clouded over for a moment, and she decided to leave early. I shouldn't have forced her to join the game. I was regretting it a little. Rena probably forced herself to play with us, even though she wasn't feeling well at all. Rena put her stuff in the bag, apologized to us for leaving early, and left the classroom.
まあ仕方ありませんわね。
Well, she's gone now.
ではせめて私たちの白黒ははっきりさせようじゃございませんの。
I guess we have to keep playing until we have a loser.
そうだね。
That's right.
次は誰の番だっけ？
Whose turn is it?
Me?
よっしゃリカちゃん
Okay, Rika-chan!
来やがれ
Come on! Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. I hope this is the end. I'll have to rename my stream title because it was for content that I was thinking was gonna happen here. Anyway, let's keep going.
First of all, I wasn't very close to Mio-san. I knew who she was, so I greeted her whenever we happened to pass by. But that was about it. I never really talked to her except for the one time. And that time was only recently. It was between the day of the Watanagashi festival and the day I was caught in the act of burying the two corpses by Keisuke and my other friends. I had a phone call from the library that evening, and I was told that my father needed to return the book he borrowed.
Okay, so maybe the stream title will be apt after all.
He was shopping at the home improvement store at the time, so I went to the library to return the book for him. While I was there, I thought about buying some books for myself and I started walking around the library. I saw her there.
あら、レナちゃんじゃないかしら。
あ、レナちゃん。
こんにちは。
Hello.
ミオさん。
ミオさん。
どうもこんにちは。
Hello to you too.
図書館で会うなんて珍しいですね。
I didn't expect to see you here.
そう？
Really?
私にとってみれば、あなたが図書館にいることの方が珍しいんだけどね。
I was gonna say the same thing. I always spend time here, and I've never seen you. He smiled in a very attractive and charming way that only mature women can do. Her smile gave...
Excuse me.
Her smile gave no indication that she knew her death was just a few days away. She said that she often met with Tomitake-san at the library. It seemed like she had some time to kill, so she told me she wanted to buy me a drink. I had nothing to do after that. I let her buy me a canned iced milk tea from the vending machine in the library, and we talked for a while.
Ugh, milk tea. I cannot stand milk in tea. Like, it's bad enough having milk in coffee, but it's still tolerable. You know, I have to have at least half and half, but preferably full cream. I've had milk in tea, I've had stuff formerly marketed as milk tea, where the milk was prepackaged in the tea bag. No. Just no.
Once I came to think about it, it was a little ironic. She mostly talked about the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. She had no idea that she was going to be the victim of its 5th year.
連続開始事件ですか？
The series of mysterious deaths.
Well, she kind of had an idea that, specifically the Sonozaki family might spirit her away. In other arcs, at least. For getting too close and for breaking into the tool shed, which I assume she did this time as well.
The series of mysterious deaths.
あら、聞いたことくらいあるでしょ？
You've heard about it at least once, haven't you?
Mousepad.
4年前にはダムの現場監督。
4 years ago, the manager of the dam construction site was murdered.
Ah!
3年前には北条夫妻。
3 years ago, the Hojo couple died.
Oh my gosh. I hate this mousepad. Are you kidding me?
2年前には古出夫妻。
2 years ago, the Higurashi couple died.
そして去年は聡子ちゃんのおばが犠牲になったひなみ沢村連続開始事件よ。
And last year, it was Satoko-chan's end. The series of mysterious deaths have been going on for 4 years now.
それがあと何日かで5年目を迎えるじゃない？
And in a few days, it'll be the 5th.
一応私もそういう物騒な名前で呼ばれていることは知ってますけど。
That's a really long sentence for what short text we're given here.
I have heard a bit about it, but...
でも5年目も起こると決まったわけじゃ。
But you can't know for sure that somebody will die this year.
怒るわよ。
The rasp is real.
I do.
絶対にね。
Some will die in a few days for sure.
2度あることは3度あるってことわざがあるけど、 4度あることは5度あるって方がもっと確率は高いとは思わない？
There's that old saying, everything that happens twice will happen a third time. So isn't it also true that what happens 4 times will happen a fifth? Mio-san was convinced that the 5th mysterious death was going to happen, but he didn't know she was going to be the 5th victim. That's ironic, and also really creepy. But there is always something creepy about her. So maybe she knew that she was going to be killed in a few days, but still managed to make that mysterious smile. A series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. Of course I know about it. I've lived here for more than a year. Every year on the day of the Watanagashi festival, one traitor to the village dies mysteriously. It's been that way since the dam conflict. Each case was solved individually, but mysterious incidents still happen every year. It makes me wonder if there's some kind of will to all this. The creepiness and incomprehensibility of it all gave rise to the name the Curse of Oyashiro-sama, which fit perfectly. Despite this, I always thought the Curse of Oyashiro-sama was just a series of coincidences. My reason for that is because I strongly believe that Satsuki-kun was the one who murdered his aunt on the 4th year. I don't have any evidence, but I just know it. I knew that Satsuki-kun was in a serious predicament last year, and that he had nowhere to turn. He had no one to help him, but he had to save Satoko-chan as soon as he could. Satsuki-kun thought it through and made the best choice he could to handle the situation, just like I did when I had my problem with Dina. I hesitated to inform Mio-san that Satsuki-kun was the murderer on the 4th year, so I just listened to her for a while. According to her theory, the series of mysterious deaths isn't just a set of coincidences, but is instead a series of interrelated murder cases. At that point, my theory was completely the opposite of hers, but I decided not to get in.
南沢のお社様信仰は知ってるわよね。
You know about the cult of Oyashiro-sama here in Hinamizawa, don't you? Takano-san started telling me that Hinamizawa was once called Onigashi. She also explained the story of how the villagers were in the old days, showing me the scrapbook she was so proud of. The villagers back then were called man-eating demons, but they were also admired as transcendents, enlightened people not bound by earthly desires.
Well, man-eating is probably a pretty earthly desire. even as Japanese culture is very secular, though highly influenced by Zen Buddhism and Shinto, I have a hard time imagining that such monstrous beings as man-eating demons, things akin to Ashura in Buddhist mythology, would be admired as transcendents by that same mythology. Is a little far-fetched to me, but keep in mind, the whole system of the cults sacrificing 2 people every year, even back in the old Onigashi days, is sort of sacrilegious to Japan because, Shinto it absolutely refuses to deal with death and anything similarly unclean from their perspective. So this is like total sacrilege to most Japanese people's eyes. So it really is like a cult. And a rather important one at that, from a Japanese perspective.
つまり、ミオさんの説によるならば、
So, according to your theory,
連続開始事件は、お社様を崇拝する信心深い団体がひなみ沢に潜んでいて、お社様の力を世に示そうとしているということなんですか?
A group of cultists who worship Oyashiro-sama are living in Hinamizawa And they're trying to show the power of their god by enacting a series of mysterious deaths, right?
信心深いというか原理主義的というかは紙一重だけどね。
I'm not sure if we should call them cultists or fundamentalists. The line between them is very vague, huh?
明治以降、村の名前がひなみ沢に変わって以来、鬼ヶ淵村が長く続けてきたさまざまな風習が途絶えている。
In the Meiji era, when the name of the village was changed to Hinamizawa, the customs and the traditions of Onigafuchi were brought to an end.
それをよみがえらせ、再び鬼ヶ淵村の名と威風を取り戻そうと思っている人たちがいるんじゃないかしら。
I think there are some people who want to revive those traditions and regain the name and all of Onigafuchi. Mio-san's theory was more than a little crazy, but it was also fascinating. At first her theory, it sounded like she was just jumping to conclusions, but after she eagerly showed me the documents she'd been studying, I started to think that it wasn't actually too far from the truth. If her theory was true, it would mean that the accidental deaths of the Hojo couple in the second year, the suicide and death by disease of the Hudade couple in the third year, and the drug addict murder in the fourth year were all cooked up. It means someone who has a lot of power and influence over the police was involved.
Excuse me.
When I pointed that out, Mio-san nodded in agreement, and she started talking about how strongly they were rooted in the village, and how deeply they were involved with many public organizations. After she finished explaining all that, I finally noticed that Mio-san was suggesting that the three families, including the Sonozaki family, were the masterminds behind the murder incidents. In fact, the Sonozaki family really is powerful. They hold influence not only over Hinamizawa and Okinomiya, but also over the entire Shishibone area. It might not be wrong to say that they even hold influence over the entire prefecture. If the Sonozaki family is behind all of this, her theory would be more realistic. But that means I should be suspicious of Midtown. No, I shouldn't. But in fact, Midtown was very cold and unkind to Satoshi-kun when he was going through a tough time. I know there was conflict between the Sonozaki family and the Hojo family during the Dam Wars, but still she was very cold to Satoshi-kun. But Mita admitted that what she did was wrong.
Oh, the rasp.
And I forgave her too.
This isn't good.
I didn't want to think about that again.
All right.
I decided to change the subject because I knew it'd make me feel uncomfortable if we kept talking about the Sonozaki family.
そもそもお社様信仰って一体何なんでしょうね。
First of all, First of all, what is the people's belief in the Yashiro-sama all about?
鬼と人が共存というのも面白い話です。
It's a little funny that demons and humans wanted to coexist.
普通の昔話だったら鬼が来たら退治してやっつけるという風なのに。
In folk tales, humans usually try to wipe out the demons.
そうね。
That's quite true.
そのあたりがお社様信仰の面白いところね。
That's why Oyashiro-sama is so interesting.
でもそもそも神の国から神が漂着してきて崇められるというのは決して珍しいことではないのよ。
However, There are actually many stories that say people in old days worshipped a god that had drifted to our world from the land of the gods.
漂着神崇拝って言ってね。
It's the worship of drifted gods, in other words.
世界中に海の向こうからあるいは川上から神が漂着してきてそれを人々が敬ったという類の神話が残されているわ。
Interesting. I've not really heard of this much.
It's the worship of drifted gods, in other words. There are a number of myths all over the world about people worshipping a god who came from beyond the sea or from up a river.
I've never heard about this, but bear in mind, I live in the West, and obviously, like, what we know is, like, Christianity, about as much about Judaism as pertains to Christianity and as pertains to the modern times. Like the pagan religions of Europe and North and South America. But this whole drifted gods concept is foreign to me. Maybe they mentioned it in the anime. I can't remember. It seems vaguely familiar now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm just tricking myself.
それは偉人漂着の話でしょうか。
The gods in those myths are actually people who came from different countries, right?
そういう捉え方も一般的ね。
That's the general theory, yes.
古代日本は大陸に比べるとさまざまな文化が遅れていた。
Ancient Japanese culture was far behind that of other nations.
だから進んだ文化を持った異国人が漂着した結果、その知識を敬い神と祀ったというのはありえなくもない話よね。
When Japanese people in those days saw a foreigner from a developed country, they were so impressed by the knowledge the person had that they started worshiping them as a god. That's one theory.
So I've heard a similar theory about the Oni, or loosely defined ogres or demons of Japanese folklore. They were developed around the time that Portuguese and Dutch traders were trading with Japan before it became completely exclusionist. There are like the Ao Oni, and the Aka Oni, the Blue Oni, and the Red Oni. And they think, well, not all of them think, it's a prominent enough theory, though not necessarily the prevailing theory by any means, that they think the idea of the Red Oni came from like seeing white foreigners with like a really pink complexion, and the Blue Oni came from white foreigners whose skin was so pale that you could see their veins pretty well. I don't really hold to that theory. I mean, red and blue are considered like extreme, or colors at different extremes by many cultures, and there's kind of a reason for that, because blue is the light that scatters, is the color of visible light that scatters the most, and red is the color of visible light that scatters the least. And you have, when you look at your arteries from the outside, they look red while your veins look blue. There are just too many obvious differences for me to really give much credence to that theory, but I don't know. I guess it could be as much as it couldn't be.
そういえば日本に伝わる赤鬼や青鬼もナンパして漂着した異国人のことを指すのではないかという説がありましたね。
I had wondered if Higurashi had mentioned that before in a different arc, but I don't think they would have given this much detail to the anime because they had to condense it into half-hour episodes.
I've heard that red oni and blue oni were actually foreigners who drifted ashore in Japan because their boats got shipwrecked.
天狗のいわゆる真っ赤で鼻が異様に高い顔も欧米人を見慣れない古代の人々が作り上げたのかもしれないし。
The Japanese may have created tengu to have foreigners too. They probably saw a foreigner who had a reddish skin with a very long nose.
あら、レナちゃんもなかなか鋭い見方ができるわね。
There's a sort of typo here. It should be who had reddish skin instead of who had a reddish skin. Having a reddish skin sounds like they have an animal hide that they tanned. They tanned or otherwise prepared that has a reddish color to it.
Wow, you're pretty sharp, Rena-chan.
それには私も同感よ。
I don't think she's close enough to be using Rena-chan.
I agree with you.
大方の漂着心信仰の原点は私も偉人漂着にあると思うわ。
I think most drifted god worships
typo again.
I think most drifted god worship is based on encounters with foreigners.
でもそうだとすると鬼ヶ淵村の鬼が現れたとする漂着心信仰にはちょっと不思議な点がある。
But if that's so, Onigafuchi's drifted god worship would have a contradiction.
わかるかしら？
Do you know what it is?
わからないです。
No, I don't.
簡単よ。
It's easy.
鬼ヶ淵村には海がない。
Onigafuchi isn't adjacent to the sea.
あ、確かに。
Oh, of course.
偉人漂着なら外の世界とつながる接点が欠かせないはずよ。
In order to have any connection to foreigners, the place in question must also have a connection to the outside world.
欧米なら異国に通じる川。
In Western countries, that connection would be rivers running between adjacent countries.
日本なら世界に接する海。
In Japan, that connection would be the ocean.
だから日本における漂着心崇拝もそのほとんどは沿岸部に集中するわね。
So, most of the drifted god stories in Japan originated near the shores.
鬼ヶ淵村以外に漂着し、そこから旅をしてここまでやってきた可能性はありませんか？
Isn't there a possibility that the foreigner wants to shore somewhere else first and then travel to Onigafuchi?
ところがお社様信仰の決定的なところは
This audio file is quieter. Granted, the audio files are modded in and they were ripped from the PS3 port. Mind you, the PS3 port was not the best put together.
Well, the thing about the worship of Oyashiro-sama is
鬼が漂着した場所を鬼ヶ淵沼とはっきり特定している点なの。
It specifically pinpoints Onigafuchi Swamp as the place where demons first appeared.
鬼ヶ淵沼には何も流れ着かない。
The swamp isn't connected to any rivers.
そんなところになぜどこから漂着したのか。
So how could a foreigner wash up there?
実はこの辺にお社様信仰の謎を探る面白さがあるのよ。
That's why the mystery of Oyashiro-sama is so interesting.
お社様の伝説はどの程度知ってるかしら？
How much do you know about the legend of Oyashiro-sama?
学校に置いてある絵本で読んだ程度です。
I just read a picture book about it in school. I feel like I know a lot about it, but I actually don't. I just have an extreme fear of the rule not to leave Hinamizawa. After all, my life went wrong after I left. I felt dizzy when I tried to think about it further, so I stopped. When everything went wrong in Ibaraki, I met Oyashiro-sama, and he told me to go back to Hinamizawa. No, I'll get dizzy. Don't try to remember. Don't try to remember. I can't remember. I can't remember. I got desperate because I felt responsible for the divorce. I just used Ayashida-sama as an excuse for my mental instability. And I told my father I wanted to go back to Hinamizawa. Right? But wait. Ayashida-sama did come to me. No. The colors are too dazzling. I can only remember the vivid color of the pills and the dizziness.
それだけ知ってれば十分よ。
That's all you need to know.
Oh.
鬼が淵より鬼が湧き出し、村人を襲った。
The demons came out of Onagafuchi swamp and they attacked the villagers.
それを見かねたお社様が降臨して、鬼たちを平服させたわ。
Classic exposition, saying that's all you need to know and then telling her all she needs to know.
Ayashida-sama saw it and came down to save the villagers from the demons by exiling them to hell.
鬼たちは地獄を追放され、行き場がないことを嘆き。
The demons cried, and the villagers felt bad for them.
それで、村人たちは鬼たちを気の毒に思って、村に住まわせてあげようと決めた。
They decided to let the demons live in the village with them.
そしてお社様は、村人たちの心に感銘を受け、鬼たちに人の姿を与え、村に共存させたという。
Oyashiro-sama was impressed by the kind hearts of the villagers, so he gave human forms to the demons and let them coexist.
その血は次第に交わり、村人たちに溶け込んでいった。
The blood of the demons blended with that of the villagers as they lived alongside each other.
そうです。そういう話だったと思います。
That's exactly what I read in the book. I felt dizzy, like I was going to faint, because I touched the one memory I didn't want to.
神話の多くは古代の何らかの事実を原型にしていると言われることが多いんだけど。
People say that most myths are based on an event of some sort that happened long ago.
レナちゃんはこの神話から何を読み取れるかしら？
What event do you think is the truth behind this myth? Because I was still feeling dizzy, all I could do was tilt my head quizzically. It seemed like Mio-san was expecting that response, because she smiled, looking satisfied that she successfully made me confused. He took a scrapbook out of her paper bag.
これ、レナちゃんに貸してあげるわ。
I'll let you borrow this for a while, Lena-chan.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
でも私、
But I...
いいのよ。暇な夜長にでも思い出したら読んでくれれば結構。
Don't worry. Just read it whenever you have some time to kill.
レナちゃんは鋭いところがあるみたいだから、それを読んだ上で、今度じっくり議論を交わしたいわね。
I want to know what you think about the things written in the scrapbook.
私も肯定的であれ敵対的であれ議論の相手がいなくて寂しいのよ。
She's really brown-nosing Banana right now. She's laying it on thick.
I'd like to know, even if you disagree with me, because you really are very sharp.
二郎さん、こういうのにはさっぱり興味のない人だし。
Jiro-san isn't interested in things like this at all, so I appreciate your input. I had little choice but to take the scrapbook. Apparently, Mio-san came to the library often, so I figured I could return it to her whenever I came to return my books. However, the day I returned the scrapbook to Mio-san never came.
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
さっきからうつろね。
You don't look good.
体調悪いの？
Are you feeling okay?
あ、ちょっと夏風邪気味ね。
I caught a summer cold.
まだ病み上がりなんです。
I'm still recovering from it. It wasn't the summer cold that was making me feel dizzy. I always get dizzy when I try to remember the time I met Oyashiro-sama in Ibaraki. I mustered all my courage and asked her. My memory of those days in Ibaraki is blurry. I know I met Oyashiro-sama. Nobody believed me, and they told me that it was a hallucination. But I thought Mio-san would listen to me.
Mio-san.
Mio-san.
Uh-oh, this is gonna be serious. Serious.
今度は私の話を聞いてもらってもいいですか？
Can I talk to you about something?
いいわよ。
Yes, of course.
聞いてもらったお返しに今度は私が聞くわ。
You listen to me, so it's my turn to listen to you.
いえ、お社様の話なんです。
Hey, Darkness, how's it going?
Well, it's about Oyashiro-sama.
笑われないかとても不安です。
You might laugh at me.
笑わないわよ。
I won't.
あなたも私の話を笑わなかったもの。
You didn't laugh at me either.
Mio-san said it in a very gentle and mature way, and that encouraged me. Even so, I still hesitated to talk. But there's probably nobody but Mio-san with whom I could talk about something like this. I gathered my courage again and spoke.
私、お社様に会ったことがあるんです。
I have met Oyashiro-sama before.
本当に？
You have?
はい。
Yes.
私、小学校に上がる前まではひなみ沢に住んでいたんです。
I used to live in Hinamizawa until right before I went to elementary school.
それが母の仕事の関係で茨城に引っ越したんです。
But my mother got a job in Ibaraki, so we moved.
この意味はわかりますよね。
Well, you know what that means, right?
わかるわよ。
Yes, I do.
南沢を離れてはならないというお社様の禁忌に触れたということね。
You broke the rule of Oyashiro-sama, which is to never leave Hinamizawa.
そうです。
That's right.
それでいろいろ悪いことが起こって母が離婚し家庭はぐちゃぐちゃになりました。
And then many things happened. My mother divorced my father, and my family was broken.
私も自暴自棄になって悪いことをしたりしました。
I got desperate and did some bad things.
辛いこともあったのね。
That sounded a little too cheerful.
I got desperate and did some bad things.
It must have been terrible.
それで？
Then what happened?
世の中の何もかもが嫌になって自分以外の幸せな人たち全部が私を見下しているように感じた最後の頃。
I started hating everything in this world, and I started to feel like everybody who was happy was looking down on me.
不思議な存在が現れるようになったんです。
That's when a mysterious existence started to appear.
それがお社様？
You mean Oyashiro-sama?
I feel like this voice actress for Takano-san could do an excellent Japanese dub of Mary and Maria from Silent Hill 2. And vice versa, I think that Monica Taylor Horgan, if she were to get back into voice acting again, would do an awesome English dub for the anime.
初めて現れたのは内緒ですよ。
The first time it came to me was, please don't tell anybody about this.
全部嫌になって自分を壊してしまいたいと思って体に刃物を突きつけたことがあったんです。
It was when I started injuring myself by cutting my body with a knife.
その時首をカミソリで切りつけたら血に混じってブクブクと汚らしい何かが溢れ出したんです。
Okay, in the anime, she cut her wrist.
I cut my neck, and something very dirty and gross came out with the blood from the wound.
それは
It was...
バカにしないわよ。
I'm not gonna laugh.
続けて。
Go on. The chill I felt at that time came back to me. I sealed that memory away so that I wouldn't have to remember ever again. But once I unsealed it, I started remembering things one after another. Yes, back then, there was something in the blood. Something crawling.
赤黒い無数の何か。
It was countless. Dark red maggots.
それらは首から血がこぼれるのと一緒にわらわらと湧き出してきました。
They screamed up and out from my neck with each drop of blood.
しかもそいつらは外へ溢れまいと傷口から再び中へ戻っていこうとわらわらって。
But they wanted to stay in my body, so they crawled back into the cut.
私そんな気持ち悪いのに体内に戻られたくなくって書きました。首の傷を引っかいてほじくり出そうとしました。
I didn't want those creepy things to get back inside my body, so I clawed at the cut in my neck to get them out.
でもそれ以上は痛くて血まみれになるばかりで。
But it hurt so much, and it only made my hands and neck bloody.
それで私は急に怖くなりました。
I got scared all of a sudden.
私の体の中には血管いっぱいにあの気持ち悪いのがぎっしり詰まってるんじゃないかって。
I was scared because I thought there were that many nasty maggots in my blood vessels.
I don't think I said this.
I got scared all of a sudden.
それで私は試しにカミソリで股の血管を開いてみました。そこならよく見えると思ったから。
So I cut a blood vessel in my thigh just to see how it looked. I thought I could see it better if it was my thigh.
そしたら溢れてきたんです。ドバッとわらわらっと。
Then they used alphanary too. So many of them. I understand, Ryugu-san. So please calm down.
分かってないってば。
No, you don't understand.
そいつらは血と一緒にドバッと溢れ出すけど、すぐに元の血管の中に戻ろうとする。
The maggots come out with my blood, but then they try to get back inside my veins.
それがとてもかゆいんです。
It really itches. Please, bring a doctor. No, don't claw at it like that. Bring me a sedative.
Oh, let me do a different voice because this is from memory. I understand, Ryugu-san, so please calm down. You know what? Let's do the voice of Mary's doctor, just for crapsy giggles. I understand, Ryugu-san, so please calm down. Please bring a doctor. No, don't claw at it like that. Bring me a sedative. Hurry! Hold her down.
私の血管の中のやつをやっつけて。
Please kill the maggots in my veins.
血を全部抜いてきれいにして。
Please take all the blood out of my body and flush my veins out.
私の血管には変なのがいっぱい詰まってるの。
There's so many of them in there.
どうして信じないの？
Why don't you believe me?
Wow, she's really shouting for a library.
見せてあげるから。
I'll show you.
見れば信じるでしょ。
You believe me if you see them, right?
注射は嫌。
I don't want you to get any more shots. No.
落ち着いて。
Calm down. Okay? Neil-san sat next to me and held my hands tightly. Her touch brought me back to reality.
それでどうしたの？
So, what happened?
そんな誰も私のことを信じてくれない時に現れたんです。
Nobody believed me. But then he showed up.
お社様が。
Oyashiro-sama came to me. The memory was very vague, and I saw flickering lights. It made it difficult for me to remember. I met Oyashiro-sama. That sentence is all I remembered. The memory of actually meeting Oyashiro-sama was unbelievably vague. After I got out of the hospital, I continued being treated at home. I still felt something moving in my veins, so I wanted to cut my body to make the blood ooze out so that I could make sure there were no maggots in there. Usually I was sleeping like the dead because of the strong pills I was taking. But one day I forgot to take the pill, and my consciousness was very clear. I felt the maggots moving in my veins, and I felt the urge to look inside. I cut a vein on my wrist.
Okay, this is where they got the wrist. They just simplified it, boiled it down to its purest essence.
I knew it. A lot of blood and many dusky red maggots came out from the wound. I wanted to wash them off before they crawled back inside me. So I put my wrist under running water in the bathroom sink, and I tried to open the vein. Water, blood, and maggots ran down into the drain. Just like squeezing out the pus from a pimple, I squeezed the vein to get rid of the dirty blood and maggots. I kept doing it. My arms started to feel numb, and they felt cold. And I kept doing it. I thought I might die from losing too much blood, but I kept doing it. My body was filled with maggots. I had to squeeze all my blood out of me.
Man, that's commitment. That ruined the mood.
And then, a very bright light shone upon me. It was a very bizarre sensation.
I like this track.
I had never experienced anything like it in my life. All of a sudden, the dark bathroom was filled with a bright light.
Keep in mind, this song played when Shion thought that the spirit of Satoshi was following her, and she discovered him in the last arc, May I Catch Him. So, is the shared status of the song between these two things intentional? I have to wonder.
All of a sudden, the dark bathroom was filled with a bright light. It was very bright but gentle. It wasn't like the light from the merciless fluorescent bulb. It was very warm and gentle. That was Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama was looking at me with gentleness and sadness in his eyes. As he touched my wound, the maggots started melting and disappeared in front of my eyes. That wasn't all. All the maggots that were moving throughout all my veins disappeared too. Oyashiro-sama taught me. These maggots were the curse. People of the demon's blood can't live outside of Hinamizawa. It's the rule. Unfortunately, you've been cursed. It's very sad, and I feel sorry for you. There's only one way to save you. That's what he said.
Well, keep in mind, in the Japanese, they don't have gendered pronouns. Or, well, they do, but they rarely use them. You can omit nouns if the context is known. Nouns and pronouns. So, I really doubt that she's saying he. I think they make a point, from the village's perspective, to not assign Oyashiro-sama a gender.
What should I do? The answer was very simple. All I needed to do was to go back to Hinamizawa. I unconsciously knew that before I heard it from Oyashiro-sama. People who were born in Hinamizawa must never leave. But I broke Oyashiro-sama's rules, and I left Hinamizawa. That's why my family was broken, and I lost my mind. If I hadn't left Hinamizawa, nothing would have gone wrong. And so, I had to go back. Oyashiro-sama also told me this. He could make the maggots, the embodiment of the curse, disappear. But only temporarily, because I lived far from Hinamizawa. After a while, the power of Oyashiro-sama would fade away, and the curse would start eating my body again. If that happened, the maggots would take over my body, and I would go insane and die. I must go back to Hinamizawa. before his power to hold down the curse faded away.
Okay, I'm just gonna replace he, his, him with they, their, theirs, them.
That's what Oyashiro-sama told me. They did. I heard him tell me that. I should have gone back to Hinamizawa earlier. That's why Oyashiro-sama came to me to put his curse on me. Or to put that curse on me.
Darn it.
But they gave me a chance. They gave me a chance to pay for my sin of leaving Hinamizawa. Dad, listen. Oyashiro-sama is going to help us. Let's go back to Hinamizawa. Hinamizawa is the place where we must live. If we don't, not only me, but you might be cursed too. Let's go back to Hinamizawa. That's the only place where we can live. We need to hurry. We need to hurry. Oyashiro-sama's power will fade away. My body will be eaten by the maggots. Oh no. Oyashiro-sama is following me. He's telling me to hurry. He follows me everywhere. Keeps telling me to hurry. He keeps apologizing to me for putting his curse. They keep apologizing to me. They follow me everywhere. Keep telling me to hurry. Keep apologizing to me for putting a curse on me. They follow me everywhere and keep apologizing. I'm telling you the truth. I am. Why can't anybody see it? Why can't they see the maggots of Oyashiro-sama? Everybody's trying to fool me. I know they can see them too. No, no, please stop. I don't want to get another shot. Ah! Are you okay? I was breathing hard, and Mio-san was holding my shoulders.
It's a lot of reading tonight.
I could feel that the terrible memory I've been trying to forget was awakening. The doctors told me that the memory was just my delusion. They told me that since I blamed myself for the divorce, I unconsciously had a desire to blame someone else for it. And I unconsciously connected the desire to the folktale of Oyashiro-sama that I read when I was little. I got drug treatment, received counseling, and waited. I gradually got better, and that proved the things I saw were just a hallucination. The doctors asked my father to consider moving to Hinamizawa if possible. Fortunately, he wanted to change his living environment to heal his pain from the divorce as well. So, we came back to Hinamizawa. After we came back to Hinamizawa, I felt it. I felt it in my bones that this was the place we should live in. And I also felt Oyashiro-sama's blessing. I definitely felt it. I felt the curse of Oyashiro-sama starting to break. I was free. After I moved here, I went to the clinic in Gogura for a while. The doctor gave me the same poisonous-looking pills, and I kept taking them for a while. The terrible memory gradually became unclear. Whenever I tried to remember it, I could only remember the strong side effect of the pills, and it made me dizzy. That's how I regained my peace. And then I changed my name, Rena. The reason was because my name reminded me of those bad memories. I didn't want to have anything icky in my life anymore. That's why I came up with the idea of taking icky things out.
Japanese uses the word iya, which means no. Or, well, really it means disgusting, sick. But it's become conflated with no.
After I took the E of icky out from my name, Rena, there were only Re and Na left. That's how Rena was born. I like that. When I was introduced to my classmates, I told them to call me Rena. Since then, that had been my name. I'm living my new life as Rena. I cut away all the sad things that happened when I was Rena. My father still calls me Lena, but I don't feel bad as long as it was just my father and my relatives. But then, Irina came into my life one day, and she called me Lena. Because she called me Lena, this colored light started flickering again. I should stop. I should forget about it. The lights were still flickering.
すみません。
I'm sorry.
私、だいぶ取り乱してました。
Was I panicking that badly?
小声で何かつぶやいてたわね。
You were muttering to yourself.
落ち着いたならよかったわ。
I'm glad you calmed down. Judging by Mio-san's reaction, I wasn't panicking as badly as I thought I was. But I've probably had this panicked hallucination several times. If I started screaming and yelling like I once did, they'd take me away to a hospital again for sure.
私はあの異常な中で確かにお社様に会ったんです。
I'm certain I met Oyashiro-sama.
もちろん不気味な何かも。
I saw the maggots.
信じられませんよね。
It's hard to believe, right? Mio-san smiled, looking a little confused. I couldn't blame her. I didn't expect her to believe it. I'm sure it's just a strange memory I created for myself in my hallucinations. I can't believe I can't trust myself. That's the worst feeling of all.
レナちゃん、
Lena-chan,
まず一つ安心してほしいの。
first of all, you don't have to worry about anything.
はい。
Yes.
レナちゃんが怖がっているたたり。
Uh-oh, are we having connection problems? Let me try refreshing.
I'm talking about the curse you're afraid of.
つまり血の中にいたという変なもの。
And the maggots that you saw in your blood.
Ah.
それはお社様が言うにはひなみ沢にいる限りは大丈夫なんでしょ？
According to what Oyashiro-sama said, you're free from them as long as you stay in Hinamizawa, right?
ええ、そう言ってました。
Yes, that's what he said.
なら怯えることはないじゃない。
Then you don't have to be scared.
安心して。
You don't have to worry about anything.
あなたは今ひなみ沢にいる。
You're in Hinamizawa right now.
まあこの図書館は沖宮だけど、このくらいの距離ならお社様も許してくれるわね。
Well, this library is in Okinomiya, but it's very close to Hinamizawa. I'm sure it's okay with Oyashiro-sama.
血管の内側に何かが騒いでいるなんて感じないでしょ？
You don't feel anything moving in your veins right now, do you?
それははい。
No, I don't.
だから安心して。
So there's nothing to worry about.
あなたは今お社様の戒律をちゃんと守ってる。
You're following Oyashiro-sama's rules.
だから何も恐れなくていいの。
There's nothing you should be scared of.
だってそうでしょ？
Is there?
ね？
Right?
はい。
Right.
はい。
Right. I didn't know until then that she was such a warm-hearted person. I met many doctors and talked to them about this, but they always ignored me. Didn't really listen. All they did was give me a shot of a drug I hated. On the other hand, Mio-san didn't deny my story or the existence of Oyashiro-sama. The people in this village whispered behind her back that she's a little crazy. But she was actually a very kind person. I thought.
レナちゃん、
Lena-chan,
私は今の話全部信じるわ。
I believe everything you just told me.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much.
そう言ってくれた人は初めてかもです。
You're the first one to ever say that to me.
それは私も同じよ。
So are you.
私の話をバカにしないでちゃんと聞いてくれた人はあなたが初めて。
You're the first one who didn't laugh at me and listen to me so seriously.
私たちいい友達になれそうね。
I think we can be good friends.
Mia-san smiled, touching my head with hers.
I don't know. She still seems a little too creepy.
なら私の秘蔵のファイルとスクラップも貸してあげるわね。
Well, I'll let you borrow my secret files and my scrapbooks.
本当に本当の門外不出。
These are top secret.
私以外の誰にも見せる気がなかったんだけど、レナちゃんには特別に読ませてあげてもいい気がするわ。
I didn't want to show these to anybody, but you're special. I think I can trust you.
あなたならバカにしないでちゃんと読んでくれそうな気がするし。
I know you'll take them seriously. She took a few scrapbooks out of her paper bag and handed them to me.
ぜひ読んで感想を聞かせてね。
Let me know what you think after you read them.
あるいはひょっとするとレナちゃんにしかわからないことなのかもしれない。
There might be something in them that only you can understand.
Mia-san was acting mysteriously. She smiled mischievously and put her index finger on her lips as a sign to keep it a secret.
あとこのスクラップ帳と私がそういう研究しているのは内緒よ。
Don't tell anybody about these scrapbooks or that I'm studying this, okay?
内緒ですか？
We're keeping this a secret.
はい、わかりました。
Okay, I got it.
だってこんな研究をしているのが連中に知られたら消されてしまうかもしれないものね。
Okay, so she did say something along those lines to Rena in this arc about that.
If they find out that I've been studying this, they might get rid of me.
She laughed after she said that. They might erase her. That's what she said. And she went missing. She left me her scrapbooks. But that's not all there is to it. It's the way Tomitake-san died. Oi-san said he committed suicide because of a state of excitation caused by using some kind of drug. But I know it really happened. I didn't tell Oi-san about it. I don't think he'd have believed me even if I had told him. Without a doubt, Tomitake-san died trying to get rid of the maggots. It was nothing other than the curse of Oyashiro-sama.
So in the first arc, Onekachi-hen died by clawing out his throat the same way Tomitake-san died. So there must be some itchiness in the neck going on that makes it impossible to stop from scratching one's important blood vessels open.
It's nothing other than the curse of Oyashiro-sama. To never leave Hinamizawa isn't the only rule of Oyashiro-sama. There are more. He might have broken one of them without knowing it. Oi-san told me. Tomitake-san was taking pictures with his camouflage on during the sacred ritual dance, and some people got mad at him for it. Did Oyashiro-sama put his curse on Tomitake because he violated the sacred ritual dance? It might be for another reason.
Like breaking into the tool shed? The ritual tool shed that is forbidden to anyone but the Shrine Maiden and other members of the three families?
Anyway, he died from the curse of Oyashiro-sama, without a doubt. Did that mean Oyashiro-sama put his curse on Mio-san too? Investigating the gods is the same as getting close to the gods. It's disrespecting them. But Mio-san told me that they might get rid of her if they found out about her investigation. By they, she meant humans. Plus, according to her theory, the three families are in a conspiracy to revive the faith of Oyashiro-sama. But I can tell by the way Tomitake-san died that it was the act of the curse. I'm certain about that because I experienced the curse myself. And at first glance, that seemed incompatible with his conspiracy theories about human beings. I I remember that Oishi-san told me something about some kind of drug that can make a person commit suicide. So do the three families have a secret drug that can cause the curse of Oyashiro-sama? That's impossible. Plus, I didn't get any shots of a suspicious drug like that. I had a normal life in Ibaraki. I wasn't involved with the Sonozaki family or the Kimiyoshi family. Oishi-san asked me a favor. He asked me to tell him secretly if I saw or heard anything suspicious. It could be about me-chan, Rika-chan, or anybody in the village. Mio-san believed my story about Oyashiro-sama. Now she's gone. Tomitake-san died by doing the same thing I did. No. I don't want to get involved with the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Is this a conspiracy of a group of fanatical cult members? Or is it the curse of Oyashiro-sama? Is everything just a set of coincidences? Or maybe it's a mixture of conspiracy and the curse. I don't know. Is it the work of humans? The curse? Or a coincidence? No. Even the light of the sunset was making me feel dizzy.
I hope this is over soon.
When the sunlight in Hinamizawa gets so mean, Mio-san told me to keep her investigation secret. I have her top secret scrapbooks. They might hold the truth about everything. When I realized that, I got scared all of a sudden. I might end up the same way as Mio-san, because I have her scrapbooks. If it's a conspiracy, I'll be erased. If it's a curse, I'll be cursed.
Wow, that's a really profound statement.
I should burn the scrapbooks. That's the safest thing to do. But Mio-san believed my story. Mio-san listened to me without laughing. They feel wrong to burn them without taking a look. If it's a conspiracy, I have to expose it. If it's a curse, I have to break it. I shouldn't run away. I should fight. That's right. I decided to fight to seize my happiness. I shouldn't give in to misfortunes. I have to fight. I'm going to get rid of all the things that are trying to ruin my peaceful life. I'm going to read her scrapbooks when I get home. I started walking faster.
Please don't cut to her reading the scrapbooks. I need this chapter to be over. Thank goodness.
Higurashi no Naku Koro ni Tsumihoroboshi-hen.
Tips. You have received a new tip. Lunch takeout list. Nice! So, get an achievement. Achievement unlocked. Icky things. Believe in a conspiracy. So, in Japanese, that's probably Yanamono. But anyway, we're going to save here. This is going to be it for tonight. If you aren't part of the Discord yet, be sure to join. That's how you get notified as to when we're about to go live and how you keep in contact with our lovely community in the meantime. This week's kind of been odd because of something unforeseen yesterday. I had to shift the whole stream week over a day. So we'll be picking this back up Friday. And Wednesday, I have a special surprise to stream. Darkness, I think you know what it's going to be, because I've been talking about it most recently in your chat. But we're just going to have to see. So tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we'll see. And then we'll pick this back up Friday. So, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. And as always, if you like what you see, please feel free to click like, comment, follow through on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, join that Discord. Any feedback here you can give me at all will help me tailor my future content towards your interests. I'm Regulus Pastor, and until next time, Wale!